if I wasn't anxious, I had a good friend tell me this one time.
Okay.
And you can use it against me, I don't care.
I'm not going to use it against
So
you.
Beyonce gets nervous before every show, and she's the fucking queen bee.
Yeah,
so
I
if
agree.
I don't get nervous, I'm not going to have a good show.
No, I agree.
And so I think that's a good thing to have a little bit of nerves before I
It
go
is.
there. And even after I talk, I've talked for over 100,000 people, and every single time I'm done speaking, I get vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because I feel
you've
like I just exposed myself to these people that I don't know.
Yeah.
And then my anxiety comes up, and I just need like
protective mechanism.
10 minutes to be like Paulie for a second. And I always have people come up to me afterwards, and I always just say I'll come and talk to you, I promise. I just need like 10 minutes to go have a smoke or like just be me for 10 minutes. And it usually works. But like before and after, all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm Beyonce.
And you're Beyonce. And so obviously a little bit of anxiety works well for Paulie.
Right.
And he obviously has a bond with Beyonce now.
That's right.
But yeah.
Oh,
but it's not great to have before you go to bed at night.
No.
Right? And we were thinking that we were just talking about sleeping, and a lot of people get the anxiety before they go to sleep. I know it's really bad for me when I get up in the morning.
Yeah.
When I have a lot to do that day, I kind of play it out in my mind and work myself up before I even go through it.
Right.
So,
is that just fear of the unknown, or what do you think that? What do you think that is?
It could be. I think all of this is based in fear to some extent.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it has to do with the potential what if thinking of like, what if this doesn't go my way?
Right.
What if this goes wrong? And my what if thinking always goes to, even though I know better now, I know I should say, well, what if my day's amazing? And what if I have a fantastic day? You can turn it around for the positive, but most people, and we're kind of conditioned to say, well, what if this happens?
Right.
What if this happens? And it's negative.
Yeah.
So if you can learn to turn that what if thinking into a more positive
affirmation.
Affirmation. Yeah. So it's like, what if I go to the gym and I'm sloppy and it sucks? Well, what if I go to the gym and I feel like shit? What if I go to the gym and I still feel like shit? Yeah. But what if I go to the gym and I have the best? I don't know. I haven't gone yet. It could be the best fucking lift of my life, right?
True.
So we're going to talk about external stressors versus internal stressors. So an external stressor is basically something like Paulie when you speak, or before you went on stage when you were competing. There's an external reason why you're feeling anxious. There's something that's going to happen. You're going on stage in front of hundreds of people, right? Or you have a flight. I think that was a good example they use a lot. Like some people that haven't flown in a while might be thinking about getting on that airplane. So there's a reason why you're feeling a little bit of stress, and that's the external stressor. So most people think they're afraid to fly, but a lot of people are actually afraid of embarrassing themselves and losing control. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily afraid of flying or afraid of even dying. You're afraid of embarrassing yourself in front of people. So the external stressor, let's use the airplane as an example because that's what they did here. So if you're on an airplane, an external stressor could be turbulence on a flight, right? And that's a real reason to feel anxiety. The internal stressor is the what-if thinking and anticipatory anxiety that comes up with that. So that you'd be thinking, what if we crash? What if I throw up? What if I embarrass myself? These are the negative things. Yeah. Or what if to switch it to the positive, you could think, well, what if the turbulence is no longer with us anymore? What if I enjoy the rest of the flight? What if it's a nice sunny day and I make a new friend sitting beside me? These are all positive what if thinking things, right? The more we work ourselves up in this fashion by focusing on the what if thinking of the negative possible outcomes, the more adrenaline we release. And so this is the cycle we get in.
Crippled we get.
Yeah, exactly. And the more it scares us. So there's always an external stressor, and then the internal stressors are kind of what work us up to the point where we're only focusing on how we're feeling at that point, and we just want the feelings to go away.
You betcha.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of interesting.
I think with that, like with
the
plane thing, that I get anxious when I go on a plane, but it's because I'm not flying the plane.
Yeah.
Because I want to be in control.
It's a control thing,
and
sure.
So I'm sitting in the back of the seat and we take off and it's fine, it's the landing.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a wall or a lake or a forest.
Right.
Or a runway.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I go to like the lake, the forest, not the runway first.
You know what
I mean? I just want to be able to know when I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
And be able to get off the plane.
Sure.
And that's, I think, when I get on a plane, I get anxious for sure.
And that's one of those things that was kind of brought up last session as well. But it's the control issue where everyone sort of, it's like people driving. You know, there's those people that like, I gotta drive though, because they have to feel like they're in control, right? And that's the thing, is as soon as you start to relinquish some of this control and realize everything's out of your hands, it's actually kind of a relief.
Can you imagine me flying a plane? Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Dude, I've flown them before, so can you imagine me flying one?
Yeah.
You can?
I could.
Oh, that's nice, buddy. I wasn't bad. Yeah.
The Sex and Suicide Airlines? I could totally see that. Cover that up.
They have Virgin. They have Virgin. Yeah, cover that up. That's right. Cover up by 747.
Yeah.
So, the interesting thing, I found this was really interesting, is these are the exact same feelings. So the anxiety feelings that we get are also the same feelings that you get when you're going on a roller coaster ride. But because we're programmed to think of them as excitement, we think of them differently. Right. And it's fun for us and it's thrilling. But as soon as it's in somewhere where
we're in danger,
we're potentially in danger. I mean,
how crazy is that?
Yeah. It's all
perspective.
It is, and it's all in our minds. That's the incredible thing. It's just,
I think that's the thing with all this, like what I learned here, I wrote it down here, just perception of self, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's about who I think I am, who I feel I am, who I really am, right? And sometimes, for me at least, my panic attacks tell me that I'm something totally different than I really am, right? But I am so wrapped up in that in the moment that I believe it.
Right.
I believe this voice saying whatever.
Right.
But instead, I just don't listen to myself and stay present. It's like a perception thing. And I think a lot of people get that they view themselves a lot worse than they really are. We're all our own worst enemies.
Yeah.
I think we should start, I don't know, I don't like that word should, but what I would like to do is just start looking at myself in a different perspective, in like a 40,000 foot view of, like, I'm sober, I'm healthy, I live in an apartment, I have clothes to wear, I have food in my fridge, like, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, grateful things.
And it's hard, when you're feeling grateful, it's really hard to feel fear, which is a lot of what this stems from.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the same chemistry occurs when you're going down a ski hill or on a roller coaster or doing something that, like an extreme sport.
Adrenaline junkies?
Yeah, the adrenaline junkies. So, adrenaline junkies must love anxiety, right? Because it's
they
the
live
same,
off it.
It's the same thing. So we receive it differently, though. That's our problem. We perceive it as danger.
Right.
So let's talk about the feelings people feel when moving towards a panic attack. So don't start freaking out yet. But let's talk about some of the feelings. What do you feel when you're feeling panicked?
I feel like my heart rate goes like through the roof.
Yeah, heart rate.
And I have a tough time. I know it, and I've recognized this just through therapy and stuff. If I'm having a panic attack or anxiety, I have a tough time looking people in the eyes.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
You don't want them to see that you're having it. You feel like they'll see through you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I wear my heart on my sleeve and in my eyes. Like, if I'm upset, people know I'm upset.
Right.
And so if I'm upset, I don't want to look at anyone in the eye.
Yeah.
And so that's like what happens. And then I feel shitty for not looking at them in the eye.
Which only compounds
Which
things.
just makes it worse. And my hands get sweaty. My heart starts going.
Hands sweaty, heart rate increase.
I can't concentrate on one thing, and I can't make eye contact a lot of times.
Yeah. What about you, Scott?
Same thing. Heart races.
Heart racing is a big one, eh?
Shortness of breath, and then I start sweating profusely, and I start worrying what are people staring at me? And then they're already staring at me because I'm fucking huge. And then now I'm sweating, what's this big sweat? And then it goes.
Right. Yeah, so your mind takes off.
Mine's different from going on an airplane.
Is it?
It's not because of, I don't mind flying or anything else. It's just people looking at me.
Right.
Being uncomfortable.
And the small seats, right? Can you fit in one seat?
No, not really.
Not really?
No.
The people sitting beside you, do they ever get a little bit awkward?
Yeah.
So you're not even afraid of the flying itself.
No,
you're
I'm
afraid
of what people think.
In the confined space.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What they think.
So some of the stuff that other people noted was that obviously their breathing gets faster. Faster breathing is a big one, and shortness of breath. And you start to focus on it. You perspire. The biggest fear when you have shortness of breath, which freaks people out, and I know I was like this too, when I started breathing really short breaths, I'd have, which is the biggest fear, and it's relevant, is a fear of lack of oxygen and not being able to breathe.
Right.
And that's what happened to me in my panic attacks for sure. And it escalates to become a fear. And then you have rapid thought process and the what if thinking. What's everyone around me thinking?
Yeah.
And can they tell? Can they tell that I'm having a panic attack? And then losing control or feeling that way, the feeling of losing control. all these things are common throughout all three of us, right?
Yeah.
So obviously,
I used to like think before I found recovery and healing, and I'm so grateful that I did. I honest to God thought that there was a sign above me that said like, this guy's fucked, or this guy's broken, right? And I thought everyone knew that I was. Yeah. And so
everybody's fucked and everybody's broken. Right. We'd all have those signs in our head if we were being completely honest.
Turn the light off. Pull the cord. Turn the light off so no one sees. Like I try to get into a relationship, and I'd be like, nope, she knows I'm broken.
Yeah.
Can't do it. See ya. And then I'd sabotage a good relationship, right? Because I just think, oh, I know what she's thinking.
Right.
And really, those people probably aren't thinking that at all.
No, you don't know.
I just thought that like there's just like it's written on me and everyone knows. Like kind of like you getting on the airplane, right? Everyone's looking at you. I thought like,
well, there's the stigma.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure, there it is, the stigma.
And the labels that you give yourself, and if everybody knew the real me, they wouldn't like me.
I want the people to know the real me now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect.
No one is.
There's too much pressure to be perfect.
Way too much.
And I like me.
Yeah, we like you too, man. We like both you boys. But anyway, the way that these feelings work is it becomes a vicious cycle of us adding fuel to the fire of an already existing fear. So there's the external stressor and the internal stressor, and the internal stressor is us bringing the anxiety out in ourselves by our thinking.
And our worst enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
Thinking, right?
Exactly.
Thinking.
So how do we stop it? So there's self-talk techniques that we're going to use. We utilize the relaxation response. Have you guys done the relaxation?
No, not yet.
I did the relaxation on Saturday night. So after
did it help?
Yeah, it did. So after I came home from Sarnia from this funeral that was heavy, I like needed to just like go in my little Zen zone. So I like closed my blinds in my bedroom and just put that on my laptop, and it really did like calm me down.
Good, man.
And I think
good.
That, like.
So you should try that if you can't sleep one night. Yeah,
it really is.
It is a good. It's 15 minutes. It's like 5 minutes breathing, 5 minutes muscle tension, 5 minutes visualization, and it takes you to just 3 really nice phases that'll put you in a good place. So what we're talking about is the relaxation tape. I believe you can find it on YouTube. If you can't find the exact one that we use, you can find a version of it, and just look for relaxation, and it'll help settle you down. The idea behind relaxation techniques is eventually when you do it over enough, which should be daily, you should be able to bring back that feeling. We call it a relaxation response. Mm-hmm. You should be able to bring that feeling back automatically when you're feeling stressed. It should kind of be ingrained. It takes a while. I mean, every new habit takes at least 21 days, so do it for at least a month, and then try it. I mean, if you get stressed out, you should be able to bring that relaxation response into play. So anyways,
I think with that, like the positive self-talk is the toughest thing.
It is tough, especially when you're going through a stressful state.
Right. Yeah. But it's probably the best thing. Like, so the other night when I was walking around at 4 a.m, I just kept saying to myself, stay grateful, stay grateful, stay grateful.
Yeah.
And I, like, instead of saying, you're a fucking idiot, Paulie, like, you can't sleep, you're 32 and have nightmares like a schoolboy, like, instead of saying that stuff to myself, I just said, stay grateful, stay grateful. And that's all it was just trying to calm myself down. And like bring my heart rate down. Like, I bet my heart rate was the same as like running a marathon, and I was just laying in bed having a nightmare.
What do you say to yourself when you're having those feelings that Paulie's having? Do you try to calm yourself down with positive self-talk, or do you beat yourself up too?
No, I beat myself up.
You beat yourself up?
It's always negative.
Really?
Yeah, it's always negative.
So some of this self-help, the self-talk is going to be powerful for sounds like everyone.
So. It's tough. Like it's probably the toughest thing, but it's like probably the best thing, right? Like if you can manage it, if you can manage good positive self-talk and like good calming self-talk, then I think that's probably like one of the best things.
Right. I think something that you might want to practice is giving yourself sort of the affirmations too, because the more that you tell yourself these nice loving things, the easier it is to bring them back in a stressful situation. So I was never one to really get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say like you're amazing the way that you are and you are enough. Right. It kind of sounds cheesy, but the thing is that your subconscious, the more that you say it, eventually, whatever you put in there, it's going to come up, regardless of whether or not you believe it. So you feel silly first, but eventually, if you can pull that back in an anxiety attack, you'll be fine.
I've written on my mirror, be a fucking lion.
Yeah.
Because I want to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be just a sheep. I don't want to follow the herd. I feel like
you're not.
Got a responsibility of being a leader, right? And be a fucking lion. Tony Robbins taught me that one.
Be a fucking lion.
Be a fucking lion.
Yeah, it's a good way to be.
Yeah.
I had my old coach down the street that did. He coached me, and he's from the Zen Center, and he said the same thing. He's like, "No, you want to be that lion.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit about hyenas laughing."